Hello, Gary.
Hi there.
So, tell me about your business that you started.
Well, my name's Gary Cohen. I am a real estate investor and developer, and we buy distressed properties, distressed notes on commercial property.
Okay. And what are we doing right now?
We're going to see an asset that for possible acquisition.
Okay. So, just to start up, what made you decide to open up your own business?
I always wanted to open up my own company. When I was 21 years old, I was working in New York City for a bank. And, excuse me a second, always knew that I wanted to have my own company, so I always wanted to be my own boss. And I saw the opportunity to make money, thought the opportunity to make money was greater having your own company than working for somebody else.
Okay. And how did you decide on your legal business structure, such as your proprietorship or corporation?
Well, it's a limited liability company, an LLC, and I didn't make the decision. My accountant and legal team at the time made the decision of how we should set up the company. So that's how it was set up.
Okay. How much time, money, and planning did it take before deciding to actually open up the business?
Probably a total of about 6 months, I'd say, between finding office space and putting together the capital required and the naming and the marketing material required, such as business cards and envelopes and branding and things like that.
Okay. How did you obtain your startup capital?
Thankfully, I had made enough money initially to put in most of the startup capital. Otherwise, I had commitments from friends and family, which is how most people get started in their first business. But I was lucky enough that I did not need to raise that capital outside, that I had it on my own.
Okay. How did you advertise and promote your business?
And it was in New York City, so there was a lot of visiting anybody who was involved in real estate, whether it be banks or real estate agents or lawyers or accountants. I basically marketed myself to any real estate professional, whether it was people who had owned real estate or people who sell real estate or people who finance real estate. We also took out some ads in the New York Times and Crane's magazine at the time.
Okay, cool. What are the licensing requirements for the business?
There's not a lot of licensing required to acquire real estate. There's licensure required in order to sell real estate as a broker. But in the early days, I did get mortgage banking licenses because we were also funding other people's real estate projects with capital. So in those instances, I needed mortgage banking and mortgage broker licenses.
Okay. Do you use any technology to help run your business?
Sure, of course. There's a lot of work that's done on first of all, the internet for research about properties. But secondarily, a lot of Microsoft Excel for spreadsheets to analyze the assets, to analyze the income and the expenses, or the pro formas on the real estate. You have to develop a strategy for every piece of property, and that strategy comes in the form of an offering memorandum, which is derived from all sorts of research on the internet. There's also some technology and software called Argus, which helps you with spreadsheets on income-producing properties.
Okay, cool. Do you have any employees that you employ? And how do you select them?
I have over the years had a lot of employees, and you select employees, number one, on the person who you think is going to do the best job. Number two, you have to unfortunately take into consideration personalities, because when you are working in an office and it's tight-knit, people spend a lot of time together, you have to make sure that there's no friction in the office, because that generally doesn't help business. So first and foremost, you take the person who's the most qualified, but also has the best personality to fit that particular business.
Okay. How has owning your own business impacted your family?
The beauty of owning your own business is that, in a sense, your hours are your own.
Okay, so what kind of day-to-day things do you do to continue running your business?
I'm constantly looking at new opportunities, new real estate opportunities. You also have to manage the real estate opportunities that you have. For instance, we have been in the process of rezoning a property in Palm Beach on the ocean. It was an old hotel, and we have rezoned it to and got it approved to build 100,000 square feet of condominiums. So what that takes is spending time with architects and attorneys, drawing up architectural plans for the property, meeting with the town manager and the town council and the mayor of the town, and attending meetings to get the property approved for condominiums versus a hotel. So that's what I've been spending a lot of time on.
What is it that makes you feel your business is a success?
Well, money is always a nice reward, but that's not really it. There's a great achievement when you do something completely on your own. You started organically from nothing, and whether it's acquiring an asset that you set your eyes on at the price that you want, or whether it's finishing off a site plan approval and getting it rezoned.
Continuing, what is the worst experience that you've dealt with?
Back in 2007, 2008, the real estate market crashed. There was no capital available in the market, and we were sitting on a parcel of land in Orlando with approvals to build 4 million square feet of property. That was worth about $55 million pre-crash. And when the market crashed and there was no money left in the marketplace, it made land deals essentially not valueless, but it reduced the value of the property to below that of our mortgage, and it created a lot of problems. So we had to figure a way out, and at the time there was seemingly no solution, and everybody was handing properties back to the bank, and unfortunately we had to do the same.
Okay. What is the best advice you could give somebody starting out their own business?
Best advice I could give is that it's going to take, as long as you're willing to work hard. You start with a germ of an idea. It's got to be something that you really enjoy. That's really the first advice I give anybody starting a business. That the business will only be successful if you enjoy doing it, which I thoroughly did.